Hello and welcome to the AVLAN video guide for the Arcam AVR-600 integrated home cinema amplifier. We're going to take you through the features of this amplifier, its connections and how to set it up. The Arcam AVR-600 is Arcam's first AV receiver with support for the HD sound formats Dolby True HD and DTS HD. It's got 120 watts per channel of continuous power, networking functions with 5 HDMI inputs and 2 HDMI outputs. Moving to the front, you can see it's got quite a simplistic front design with a large high contrast display. Moving in there, you can see the Dolby volume logo there for on-the-fly equalisation. Moving across, you can see the navigation buttons, there's the menu, the input selection display buttons. At the bottom there is a 3.5mm auxiliary input and the headphone output. There is no volume knob on this, just the volume buttons on the navigation ones, and there was the standby LED and the main on-off switch. Moving into the rear, there's clear grouped terminals here in nice straight lines. Starting at the left-hand side, you can see there's the mains power socket at the bottom left with the voltage select switch just above it. Next to that is a component. There's 5 inputs into 1 output for using with like Xbox 360. There's also Zone 2 and Zone 3 outputs just above the video terminals there. And there's the digital connections. And then you've got a 7.1 multi-channel input and 7.3 output. This is also a unit that has a DAB tuner just there on the left. Moving on to the terminals, I'm just going to show you how to set up for banana plugs. You just have to debung the unit here. We'll take these blue plastic bungs out, which are quite simple on the Arcam. You just need to use a fingernail to do so, as you see here. You can see I've taken out those nice gold-plated terminals underneath. And then you just need to take your 4mm banana plug, which will just slot into the hole like so. Okay, now we're going to take you under the lid of the Arcam AVR-600. Moving under the lid of the Arcam AVR-600 now, you can see the first thing that catches your attention is that huge toroidal transformer at the bottom left of the unit as we're looking at it. And then just next to that is that large black heatsink. You can also see the 6 large capacitors there. And you see this is a pretty well put together receiver. And moving across to the edge of the unit, and this is where we're looking at it at the back right. Got the speaker terminals there, and then you can see each of the input boards. Fortunately, we can't see the HDMI video board because it's actually at the bottom of the unit, as you saw from the rear. And then you see the edge of the chassis there. Moving on to the menus of the unit, start off with the input configuration. Start off with the which input you want. Obviously, we're on DVD here, and then below that, you can rename your input. If you wanted that to say Blu-ray, for example. And there's different AV sync settings for each input and various different listening modes. You've got tone controls per input trimming, Dolby volume on and off, which again I mentioned is on-the-fly equalisation, similar to the Odyssey dynamic volume, which many of you may be familiar with. And then you've got your stereo mode there, if you want to use a subwoofer or not, and then the volume level of the subwoofer in the stereo, and then you've got your various video settings there you'd expect to see on most televisions, along with some noise reduction, and then your component video type, and then just beneath that you can see there's a HDMI audio, whether you just want it to carry video, and the video source for the input, which defaults to composite. Moving on to the general setup now, you can see the selection of the video input without changing the audio input, audio compression for Dolby Digital or DTS, the balance, your digital output frequency, the increments of volume adjustment, so whether you wanted it to be in 1 decibel or 0.5 decibels, maximum volume for the unit itself, maximum on volume, and then your iPod input as well. And then there's the auto setup for the automatic room calibration of the unit if you're using a microphone. We don't tend to use it because we actually, if you fine tune it to your ear, it tends to be a bit better. Speaker types, obviously large if you're using a full range speaker, or small for satellites, and then your different setups. If you're using a subwoofer, the crossover frequencies, and then whether you're going to be using the 6th and the 7th channel for biamping or a multi-zone, or the surround back if you're using 7.1. Speaker distances is fairly self-explanatory. You can set it to be in meters and feet, and then you want to set the distance from the listening position in the room. And then again, speaker levels is very self-explanatory, and again you'll want to adjust that just after doing the distances. And then you just assign the video inputs to the audio source. So if you wanted a video for input with your CD player, you can use that. Or indeed your iPod or tuner. And moving on to the video outputs, main screen display on or off. Just the information, and the output switching for HDMI. So this unit has two HDMI outputs. You can tell it to just output over one or two, do both, or which one should have priority. And then the resolution that you want it to output over output 1. Also you can alter the frame rate, and then it just asks you to confirm or cancel that. Moving out into the mode menu, you can just set your various available listening modes on here. You go through, so you've got a fair few ones, and then they just scroll down as well. And then back out into the zone settings, and these are mostly just volume settings. They have got which video output you want to use for zone 2 there. And then the volume settings that we saw earlier, the maximum volume, the volume that the switch is on, whether it's fixed. And then there's the network settings there, whether you want to manually set an IP address or set it up for the network, or whether you just want to use the DHCP. If you want to hit no, you need to select that no to assign yourself a fixed IP address. Moving on to the network client now, you just need to select the file to play from the USB stick, so that's which is in the network client. And then you can just go on to the various internet radio options. You see here you can browse by genre or browse by country. Once you go into country, I think we probably want to select Europe from here, because that's where we are. And then you can also, from Europe, you can obviously select your country. Obviously we want the United Kingdom, unless you want to listen to radio from the Vatican. And then you can also select by genre from your internal country as well. But you can see the vast array, the epic list of different stations available to you if you were to use this unit for networking and wanted to listen to internet radio as opposed to the standard AML, FM or DAB tuners that this unit does already have built into it. You see you can also just scroll through PC files as well. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video guide to the Arcam AVR-600 home cinema amplifier. If you'd like to see more of the Arcam range or to see some more video reviews, then please visit our website www.avland.co.uk. Thanks very much.